And Jose, California. I am joined here by HBA Koopa, and I, of course, am Pierce70, and we're about to kick it off with Wave 2 pools of Smash for Wii U doubles action. Coming in hot right now, we have for you Team Yahtzee, that's Mars and Pugwest, versus Zero and Nairo, so we're not holding back any punches as we get into the thick of things.
Yeah, we're getting into round 2 pools, folks. You know, this is where the strong survive. You're going to see a lot of the top players really show their grit. And, you know, for those middle to epsilon players, you're really looking for them to break through. And, you know, this is where most of those players start to shine. So we got, you know, basically David versus Goliath coming up here on stream. You know, nothing against Mars and Pugwest, but when you're going up against a team of the number 1 and 2 best players in the world, it's you know, it's kind of a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely came here with expectation of winning. Everyone is expecting them to win, so it's always going to be an uphill battle versus these guys, and they're getting ready to go in. Right now, we've already got all the characters selected, so Team Yahtzee is looking like is that Marth and Zero Suit combination versus, of course, Zero's Diddy Kong and Nairo's Zero Suit Samus as well.
That's right. We got some blonde girls, we got a monkey, and we got a girl with blue hair.
Hey.
Shout out to Marth.
We don't like those jokes on this side of the table. That cuts deep. It brings up bad memories.
Yeah, Pugwest's Mars is actually like really good,
it is.
Man.
Yeah.
I remember watching him a couple of K-Tars ago, and you know, his spacing was immaculate on everything he was doing. So especially in a game where Marth is kind of a shell of his former self, you know, I still think he's a middle of the road kind of character, but
I think he's garbage. It's so bad. All right, so we've got Rhode Island and New England versus, of course, Zero, presently in SoCal, and the Nairo from New Jersey. So
shout out to New Jersey. All right, we're starting on FD for game 1. And immediately, Zero and Nairo going to work. Basically, clean stage for you know, for them to separate the 2 teammates.
Oh, but Nairo's looking like he's in a little bit of trouble here. Getting caught up by a big combo there, and blue team has taken quite a significant amount of damage. At the beginning of the match, we did see that Zero and Nairo were able to take some stage control. However, Pugwest and Mars were still able to hold down the fort a little bit with some damage, but right now Nairo's going to eliminate that first stock. Yeah,
Boost Kick making his presence known early, and we're going to see a lot of those flying around with you know, double the amount of Zero Suits flying around here. And a lot of people might not know much about these players, Pugwest and Mars, but Mars finally considered the second best Zero Suit on the East Coast next to Nairo. So.
Yeah, he definitely no slouch, and this is a round 2 of pool, so you know, everybody that made it this far has already taken out some significant teams.
Absolutely, and Pugwest in kind of a rough spot right there. Zero showing how he is definitely one of the best edge guarders in this game. He will not let you back if you're not going to take at least 80.
Nice clear right there from Pugwest, getting stage control, and now he's looking to zone out Zero from the center, but he gets caught by a banana combo, and Zero converts that into the down tilt up smash KO. Good one right there. He's able to get that KO and then secure his DI to make sure he holds on to that stock. Zero and Nairo both hanging on at 130%. We need to see those stocks get disappeared before Red Team's able to make a massive lead.
Oh my god.
And there's no comeback from that.
Oh, that's it.
Nice up tilt.
There we go, up tilt. Yeah, Mars tilt attacks, you know, low-key really strong, especially with that high percent.
Very nice right there, coming out from Mars, using that respawn invincibility to secure his partner's positioning before he gets himself back into the fray. Now Mars and Zero going head-to-head. Zero stock will finally be taken down. Nairo trying to do something big, manages to get himself back to stage with some really fancy recovery tactics there.
Yeah, Zero doing a really good job holding on to that first stock, and right now, you know, Mars already on his last stock, and Zero Suit, one of those characters that if you know how to edge guard it properly, it's really hard for this character to get back on stage.
Yeah, Mars really struggling right now. First against Zero to get back onto the stage. Took a huge damage drain, roughly 50%.
Oh,
then Nairo's going to finish him off. Nice team combos right there. Nairo's going to make it back to the stage.
And
it's all up to Mars right here.
Yeah, Mars actually stealing that stock from Pugwest, just as Pugwest was flying into the blast zone. So now, kind of a rough spot right here for Mars. He's gonna have to, you know, pull something out of his hat right now to make this even, you know, feasible as a comeback.
Oh my gosh, these team combos are so good.
Yeah, this is honestly my favorite part of the team. The 2v1.
Just watching somebody get massacred.
Yeah, the 2v1s, watching someone get, you know, jerked around. It's it's both satisfying and also incredibly upsetting. Oh my god.
It doesn't look like Nairo and Zero have actually been able to execute any of their team combos the way they've been meaning to. They have landed some hits here and there, but they haven't actually been able to close out a stock. And to be honest, every single one of those grabs should have led to a KO. So especially when you have 2 players of this caliber. There's a big mistake there. That's going to be it.
Yeah, really good, very dominant performance right there from Nairo and Zero. As expected, this early in the morning.
Yeah, but I mean, that's only game 1. Give our Team Yahtzee a little bit of time to get themselves back into the shake of things. They got a counter pick right now.
Let the caffeine from the coffee kick in a little bit. It's like, all right.
All right, straight to Battlefield. No character switches, no hesitation. These guys want it bad.
All right, I'm ready to see some Zero Suit shenanigans here. This is probably one of the scariest stages you can bring a Zero Suit player to, and Nairo just...
Huge read. Now, Red Team actually started with the advantage there because Nairo started not on a platform but on the bottom of the stage. So when you have all the players starting on the platform, Zero was able to start on the left platform behind his partner, and Nairo was already in a positional advantage there. So Blue Team needed to be a little bit more careful in the opening right there, but Nairo was very smart to capitalize on that right away, and you can already see that they've converted it into a tremendous amount of stage control and percentage. However, a couple of slip-ups from Zero there, definitely going to allow Blue Team to salvage their way back into this match. Right now, Mars and Nairo up in the air. Nairo is going to get knocked out of there with the up B. Meanwhile, Zero and Pugwest going to be vying for stage control. With the respawn, Zero Suits are back in the fray. They're at it now.
Yeah, well, what you said earlier about Zero and Nairo not really capitalizing on their team combos. Pugwest and Mars have been doing a good job of capitalizing on the few opportunities they've had so far. Oh my goodness.
Just like that, Nairo and Zero cleaning it up. Both of them getting some solid backers in there and then flipping out of there. Great DI by Zero to get, survive against that against that tipper F smash. Strongest uncharged F smash in the game, I think.
I believe so too. It makes sense. That move is, I've seen it kill at 60 and it is not pretty every time. Okay, Pugwest and Mars getting their footing right now. Mars doing a really good job holding on to his stock.
And Pugwest doing a really good job evading. I'm a little surprised he didn't actually go for the shield breaker on Nairo right there. He was in a large amount of pressure. Nairo was very prone to pick a defensive option in that situation, but we didn't see that. And we see Pugwest missing a tech, meaning he's not going to get that punish on Nairo.
Oh my goodness.
Zero open here, though.
Oh my
God. That's the first stock, though. He was at quite a bit of percent there.
Yeah, really
definitely gets blasted off. Blue Team doing a much better time. Still a very close game, separated by roughly 46%.
Yeah, again, really good showing from the Blue Team right now. Not getting completely beaten around. I think the addition of static platform is really going to be huge in this matchup for both of them.
Huge team combo coming up here on Zero. He took 60 damage in no time at all, but that's going to be the stock off Pugwest. Mars doing a great job at controlling the stage. No wake-up attack there from Pugwest is going to be, from Mars. Going to be that Zero is going to be allowed to put on a lot of pressure. Pugwest making it back to the stage. Good tech coming out there from Nairo. Up smash will close out that stock. Blue Team, very slight lead. Could go either way.
Yeah, Nairo doing a good job holding on to that stock, keeping it, in it for the Red Team situation. We're basically all tied up, barring if Zero drops his stock.
Good team combos and really nice save there by Mars. We wanted to see that kick come out from Pugwest to cover those options. We need him to get out of there. Mars doing a really good job at protecting Pugwest. That's going to be Zero's stock off. And Mars still at 2. Blue Team in a solid lead right now. Let's see if they can make something happen.
Yeah, Mars is in kind of a rough position right there. Pugwest caught on the other side of the stage.
Good job there by Mars to put pressure onto Zero, getting him off his partner. Good pressure out there by Pugwest. However, Zero taking advantage of a cluster situation, taking the stage control, setting up Mars for a potential KO.
Yeah, the Red Team's had really good control of the neutral
the team combo's coming out right now.
Oh my gosh, Nairo's not dead yet.
Nairo is very close to dead, though. A lot of pressure coming out here. Zero unable to convert into that much-needed kill. And Mars still hanging on to 2 stocks, showing exactly what's making him a top TSS player. Nice cross up there on Nairo. Gets the up tilt. Zero breaks out of the up B. Is this it? Not quite.
Okay, that was a cute little mix-up right there, trying to catch Zero with the air dodging.
Nairo right here trying to do everything he can to stay relevant and apply pressure, but it's not enough. He gets taken out by a back air up air combination, and now Zero's in a 2v1 situation.
Oh my goodness!
3 stocked coming out. I told you they had a chance to answer back. You got to let that caffeine kick in.
Yeah, man. That was actually a really good showing there from Pugwest and Mars. And I also just love the stark difference in how both teams look. You have the 2 sponsored players of Smash 4, and you got the 2 youngins that presumably just kind of rolled out of bed. It's like, yeah, this smells clean.
Sweatpants and team shirts. Gotta love it.
Gotta love it.
All right, Zero and Nairo right now collaborating, discussing what went wrong that match. You have to really respect the team combos that came out of Mars and Pugwest right there. Again, they just landed so much damage. I'm talking 40, 60% strings in just 2 seconds from not only hitting one player with immaculate combos, but also catching both players in big situations, managing to take stage control, and covering each other's backs. I mean, Mars was able to just get in so many times and really get his partner out of danger. So let's see if they're able to use that same team synergy to create what could be one of the greatest upsets of all time.
Yeah, those couple of instances of where you get those team combos, you know, with 4 players on the screen, not counting the 2v1s, it's really, really important. You know, those two or three exchanges, that 20, 40, 60%, as you said, really made the difference in that set. And as you said, if this was, you know, to see Nairo and Zero go out on the stage like this, this early in round 2 pools, that would be immaculate.
Yeah, well, Zero, he was considering Sheik for just a moment. Nairo said, nope, it's okay. I think we got this, kept the Diddy, and so far as Diddy has been doing a really good job of keeping that stage control. Mars, who is the tank of last game, definitely the MVP, is now struggling, already at 110%. Nice low DI into attack to make sure he keeps himself out of that down tilt KO combo. Now Nairo looking for some more pressure, trying to close out that stock.
Oh my
But
goodness.
somehow,
wow,
we get double kill onto Red Team.
That was incredible. I'm not even quite sure what happened there.
Just huge awareness to realize that he could burst out of that situation with an up B, scoring a double kill with the utilization of the team combo again with Pugwest. And it just goes to show you, while individual skill is a huge factor, teamwork is very, very important in the doubles format. And these two players are playing extremely coordinated.
You see Pugwest doing a good job hanging on to the stock. Sitting in the low 90s right now, which is, you know, all things considered, really good, especially considering everyone else is on their second stock already. French is their second stock.
All right. Red Team definitely came back with the respawn with a huge blast. There goes Mars. Nope. He's going to live. He's hanging on the edge of stage. You see me, there goes Pugwest. But I'm looking again to see some shield breakers out from Mars in these high-pressure situations. It's definitely a very, very great utility move in doubles.
And the blue team in kind of a rare position right now. Red team just stealing neutral like candy from a baby, you know, from Pugwest and Mars.
All right, Zero's got himself a nice little grab, but he was not able to close out that stock.
Ooh, okay. Mars reaching a little bit for steroid for that smash attack.
Now, in the last game, we saw Mars doing a really good job at keeping a stock tank. But this game, Pugwest is doing a really good job at keeping that stock tank. And meanwhile, Zero, the most fragile player. Oh, no, excuse me. Fair enough. Mars is the most fragile player, but, you know, he's very, very close to being dead. Okay, we do see now Zero scoring a very good kill with the banana to take him down to 1 stock now. That's going to tie up the game, 4 stocks apiece. However, you know, depending on who dies next could really make a big difference. And there goes Zero's stock.
Zero.
So Zero at 1 stock remaining.
Oh my
Nairo
goodness!
getting gimped at a very low percent. This is going to put them in a terrible situation. We do get finally a much needed kill. That's going to get the game very close actually, because now it's only Pugwest with a single stock lead and already at very high percents. So if he's able to take onto this stock and hold onto it, he's going to be able to set up something, but he has to manage to apply significant pressure for it to matter. You can't allow Mars to be in a 2v1 situation against Zero and Nairo because that stock will disappear.
Oh my goodness.
And there goes Pugwest stock. Now they're only down by a few percent, 10% and even less, as Zero has taken control of center stage. Pugwest doing his best to zone him out, but no grab on Zero right there. He holds fast to the shield, has excellent defense. Blue team is just struggling. They're lost the lead, and now Zero and Nairo doing everything they can to close out this game. Zero with a missed grab there.
Yeah, well, Marcin in a really rough position right now.
Oh
this
my
boost
gosh.
kick from Nairo is going to be a punish off stage. Oh my god, that
Could that be
Bumpy!
Oh my
goodness! And Nairo's
Zero
gone!
gets taken out. I mean, excuse me, Nairo gets taken out. Zero in a 2v1 situation
Can the
right
blue
now.
team do it? Pull off one of the biggest upsets of this tournament so far. Back air from Diddy Kong's going to set up an edge guard situation, but you know, Pugwest is going to make sure his partner gets back to the stage. Dancing Blade's going to control neutral again for the blue team.
Now, it's definitely not impossible for Zero to do this. He's recruited his banana, and I think Pugwest just needs to take his time here.
Oh my goodness!
God, that would have been crazy. There's one down. Now it's Diddy versus Marth one-on-one. Marth only with 16% advantage. There's a Dancing Blade that's going to put him off stage. Banana's gone. He actually really wanted to grab that instead of trip on it.
This is huge.
You can definitely see that Pugwest is not super familiar with the Diddy matchup. He does not have good item control. He did not take control of the banana either time. He's no invincibility here. There's a trip. He has it here. Nice cross-up rollout, but Zero's very patient for situations like that.
Oh my goodness.
That's not what Zero wanted to see, getting hit in this situation. In neutral air, fortunately not tipper. That could have been the end of Zero's winner bracket run.
Back air! That's going to do
Lose it! Zero out!
Nairo and Zero sent to the
Yahtzee
losers bracket.
Eliminating Nairo and Zero. Wow.
Who says nothing interesting happens at 10 a.m. pools, Pierce?
Yo, bro.
Wow.
The Marth 1v1. Oh my god, it just keeps running. I just got the announcement that the next match is going to be Komokiri and Renai versus MVG Rio and Seoul. So
I'm very excited.
We're not even slowing down.
Yeah, man.
The hype's not going anywhere.
I hope you guys are in for a long run because I sure as
That's crazy.
That was absolutely incredible. Really good job there from Pugwest and Mars. You know, two players who I get to, you know, again, most of the West Coast players probably don't get to watch these Far East players play very often.
Yeah, that's New England and Rhode Island for you guys. Mars and Pugwest doing it big out here. First round of Way 2 pools.
And it just keeps on
Zero
trucking.
and Nairo knocked to the losers bracket. Now, of course, it is just, you know, just the losers bracket of the pool. So we do still have a chance to see Zero and Nairo get it together and pull it out. But I have to say, that was absolutely excellent team coordination with a very unusual team. That's not really something I would expect. I mean,
no,
CSS
not at all.
Marth, you know, if you ask me where's the synergy there. Now, okay, I can say this. In this game, I've said it time and time and time again, Marth is a power character. And I've
agreed.
And I also think that Marth in this game has a lot more room to play in doubles than he does in singles. I think that the way that this game kind of functions, the type of character that Marth is bad against is the metagame character, the quick, agile type characters that can get in and stay in. You know, Marth, who used to be a character who's very heavy on his zoning prowess, not so good in this game in the 1v1 situation because there's so many resources and tools to simply break zones. It's just not a zoning-based game. The best characters are Sheik, Diddy Kong, Zero Suit Samus, you know, Mario. These are not characters that simply get zoned out as they did in games of old. So, you know, that's one of the reasons you don't really see Marth succeed too much in singles, but in doubles, the fact that his power has been amplified on those tippers really brings out an opportunity to shine. I mean, that tipper back air just demolishing Zero's last stock, you know, and the threat of forward air at any time, shield breaker being what it is, you know, always a very valuable resource. And his speed hasn't gone anywhere, so he was definitely able to bring out a lot of support, a lot of synergy with his partner, and of course, Mars doing such excellent things on Zero Suit Samus, showing his dedication to the character and showing, you know, exemplary knowledge and skill. I mean, he was just able to break up so many negative situations where things were looking glum. He says, no, I'm there, and he was there every time. Both of the partners were there for each other. So many upbeat KOs. I mean, Nairo had him by the throat, hanging him over the cliff like Musafa, and he was like, no, get it out of here. So both
long live the king.
Exactly. So it was just, you know, really, really immaculate gameplay coming out there from Team Yazi. You know, really proud of these guys. They're going to do big things.
Yeah,
but
man. Shout out to
definitely
those guys.
expecting to see Zero and Nairo, of course, bouncing back in a big way.
Yeah.
We're just about done getting set up here now on the stream. We're just doing a quick, obviously, controller scheme check. People are setting their custom controls to make sure that they can play at their peak performance. Just to remind you guys, it's going to be Rio and Seoul versus Komokiri and Renai. So the matches are not going to slow down at all.
I'm so excited to watch both these guys play. Rio and Seoul have been probably one of the best static teams in Smash 4 doubles, you know, with the odd combination of Little Mac and Ike. You know, two players you wouldn't expect to be hanging out with each other in a bar. Going up against two of the giants of Japan, man. You know, Komokiri showing yesterday that he's not just one-trick pony with his, with that Sonic play. Definitely showing some problems with that Cloud. And Renai, of course, the person everyone's talking about this weekend, you know, the one person that they think that, the one non-American everyone thinks that can really stand up to the giants of Nairo and Zero in singles. And now we get to see them team together. So this is going to be very, very interesting.
And another thing that really interests me is at MLG a couple months back, I actually had the honor of watching Rio and Seoul work together and casting over some of those matches. So now, to see them against this caliber player, I'm extremely excited because you all know how big of a Rio fan I am. Just as a player,
yeah, man.
Always a huge Rio fan. He's definitely one of my favorite players in the entire game of Smash. You know, I think what he does with Ike, his knowledge of the game and the way he plays is just such